This is a lecture from Open Tuition. To benefit from the lecture, you should download the free lecture notes from opentuition.com.
This lecture is about big data. And I do hope you've got the chapter open in your lecture notes. It's only 2 pages. And there's no numbers involved here. And so I'm certainly not going to read every word to you. You must, when I've talked a little bit here, you must read the chapter properly. But I want to explain basically what we mean by big data and the key things, the important things to make sure you learn for the exam. But again, do read the notes properly, and if anything doesn't make sense, then ask in the tutor forum. But well, I hope it does make sense. But let me explain what I'm talking about. Think about supermarkets. When computers were first invented for business, the first use someone like a supermarket would make of it was for their accounting records. Well, fair enough, they'd record all the sales, all the purchases and so on. But as computers have become more and more powerful and bigger storage capacities, these days they use it for an awful lot more. And to explain how, I don't know where you are, but certainly a lot of supermarkets give what they call loyalty cards. A supermarket I go to gives me a little credit card sized card that I'm loyal, and whenever I check out, they scan the card so they know it's me that's bought things. And it gives perks. So, for example, different supermarkets give different perks, but the one I go to, for every $1 I spend, I get cash back of 1 cent. Now, they don't actually give me the money, but if I spend $100, then 100 cents or $1 gets credited somewhere. And later, next time I shop, I can use that cash to help part pay for my next purchases. Another little perk they give is always there are some goods, it keeps changing, but some goods in the supermarket where, because I've got a loyalty card, they charge me slightly less than they charge people without a loyalty card. Now, why do they do this? One reason, obviously, the reason they call it loyalty card, is in the hope I'll keep going back to the same shop. Fine. But that's not the real reason for it. Because obviously I can still go to different shops and you can get different loyalty cards from different supermarkets. But the real reason is because I have to show them my loyalty card, they can scan it every time I shop there. They can keep records of everything I'm buying. And why are they interested? Lots of reasons. They can send me special offers by email. I'm always getting email telling me, oh, my favourite vegetable is this and it's on special offer this week. They can do that because they know they've got records of everything I buy. They know if I've got children. Because obviously, if I'm buying baby food, I must have babies. They know if I've got pets. Then they know if I've got a pet, they know whether it's a cat or a dog, because I'm buying cat food or I'm buying dog food. They can analyse all of this. It helps them both in targeting me, in sending me emails and things. But also, they can look at all the customers, and if they see that, 90% of people who buy bread also buy milk, perhaps they'll change the layout of the store and make sure bread and milk are close to each other. There's all sorts of ways they can use this information And it's only become feasible for them to collect all. I mean, they've thousands of customers, but it's only become realistic for them to collect all this information because, as I said at the start, computers these days are so powerful and have so much storage. And we call it big data because they're storing so much. If you want another example, I've already said read the notes, but I give Amazon as an example. If you ever buy anything from Amazon, then again, they know what you've bought. They have records of it. When you log on, they come up with recommendations. If they know you've been buying travel books, they'll recommend other travel books, and so on. And so that's all big data is, the storage of massive amounts of information, ultimately to help them, I was going to say serve the customers better, but it's for their benefit to know what their customers want. Now then, what do we need for the exam? The most important bit is on the first page, what we call characteristics of big data, or the V's. And so do be aware of these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 headings and understand basically what they mean. But the characteristics, one is volume. Well, I hope I've already made that clear. It's just huge amounts of data. Whether it's a supermarket, whether it's Amazon, just enormous amounts of data are stored. Another, variety. They'll get the information from different sources. They know what you've bought in the past. If you shop online at all, they know which websites, which things you've been looking at on their website, even if you haven't bought. If I keep looking on the supermarket's website, if I keep looking at apples, then even if I don't buy them, they'll think, oh, they're interested in apples. Right, let's email them about special offers on apples. So a variety, they're getting information, they're using it in different ways. Velocity. Velocity is another word for speed, and of course for it to be useful to them, they need to analyse and access the information quickly. Again, it's back to having powerful computers. But if the supermarket's going to target me to buy more apples, they can't wait a week before they've worked it out. The computer needs to be able to come up with the information to analyse very, very quickly. Value. One thing people often forget is, although I hope I've made it clear why all this information is of value to the supermarket or to Amazon, the more information they know about my habits, my shopping habits. And in that sense, hopefully, I buy more, they make more money. At the same time, there are costs involved, of course, in building up this huge database and all the computer costs and so on. So they do need to weigh it up. They do need to make sure that they're not spending more on getting the information than the benefit they're actually getting from it. And finally, veracity. Whoever listed these 5 terms obviously wanted them all to start with V, but I don't know why they couldn't have used easier words. Just as velocity is speed, veracity is accuracy. So for everything I've said to be of any use to the company, be it a supermarket, be it Amazon, clearly they want the information to come out to be accurate. Now, those are the key words to learn. I mean, there won't be much on this ever in the exam, but certainly those are the key words to be aware of and basically what they mean. On the second page, there are other terms. These are somewhat less important, so although I've already said twice, do read the page properly. I'll just quickly summarise. It says types of big data. Well, structured, unstructured, semi-structured. It's how it's being stored. Structured data is where it's all stored in a very defined way. I'll give an example there, a bank. A bank's recording all your transactions, and it's a very defined way how they're going to record them. Whereas unstructured data is where there isn't a defined way in the same sense. An example there, some companies, I can think of an electricity company I've used, for example. If ever you ring them up with a query or a complaint, they call up your account on the computer and they type in the nature of the complaint. So they do have a record. And at any stage they can call you up and look back and say, they had a problem about this 6 months ago, they complained about this 12 months ago, and so on. Well, information like that, which isn't in such a predefined way, and I've said they're word processor documents, spreadsheets, that we call unstructured. And it's harder for them to access. Semi-structured is where it's sort of half and half. So my example of the electricity company, typing in records every time you ring them, that would be called semi-structured because it's not all held as tables like the bank holds it, but they've what we call markers. They can call it up. In that case, they can call it up by typing in my name. General data terms, well, numeric table is where it's obviously held as numbers. You may do arithmetic on them. Categorical data, where it's not numbers. We probably went too far here for the exam, but just to be safe, nominal data is, as I've written, naming data. So if we've got students on courses, we keep records of their names, their addresses. That's nominal data. Whereas ordinal data, have you ever been to a website where you're asked to rate something? How was your experience today? Rate it from 1 very bad to 5 very good. Or a website with hotels on it. How do you rate the hotel? 1 to 5 and so on. Well, that's called ordinal data. And finally, the last two, descriptive and inferential analysis. Descriptive analysis, well, I think the example I've given there is as good as any. If we've got students on a course taking an exam, we might record all their marks and we can calculate the average mark. Inferential analysis is where you're using information about, again, perhaps the students, to infer or to estimate what will happen to students overall. So it's a little bit back to sampling in the earlier chapters. I might ask 2,000 people what the salary was, and if their average salary is $1,000, assume from that that must be the average salary for the population as a whole. So anyway, I'll leave it there. But again, the big thing, appreciate what we mean by big data and do learn and check you understand each of them, those 5 V's.